always remember when I did not understand how I used to stand under all the fool's rules running these lands. I had my head in the sand and I was asleep. Now I learn a little more every day, and I'm waking the sheep. Gonna say it out loud, say it proud, get it out, 'cause I'm burning inside, cannot hide it no more. I'm a raconteur too. Yeah, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. All the people in the chat room singing. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. One more time now. Oh, I'm a raconteur too.
Hello and welcome to Raconteurs Too. I'm your host, Ade Hardy, otherwise known as Captain Cliche, here to remind you that this world belongs to all of us, not just the chosen few. Thanks to Chuck O'Celli for the past 2 hours on autonomousmedia.com, and you can also find us on raconteursnews.com on our Spreaker. If you want to catch the podcast, you can go to raconteursnews.com or autonomousmedia.net. If you're on Autonomous Media tonight, you can click on the chat room tab and then click the AM chat room button and you can join us in the show. Tonight's producer, Tony Hurst, he's going to be cutting and pasting questions into the Skype chat for me because I can never keep up with the chat room, it moves so quickly. But feel free to join us on the show in the chat room. Who have we got tonight? Well, tonight's guest has got many interests: law, stroke religion, repossession orders on property. His wife is a mental health worker. He came off the very bad recipient in a business partnership that just went creatively wrong. Geo-engineering, flat earther, UFOs. What else can we say about Karl Davies other than good evening, Karl?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate, thank you. So you sat up in there in Burnley.
Northwest of England.
Yeah, with the police cars going past very frequently because we often hear them when we're talking to Karl.
They seem to be very, very busy around here. They seem to have lots of orders to carry out for some reason.
So, Karl, we mentioned some of the things that you're into. What I want to ask you is, what is it that first made you sit up and think, what the bloody hell is going on? What was it that triggered you?
I think it was my time when I were in army. That people just used to follow orders complicitly and ignorantly without evaluating what they were doing for themselves. And it doesn't matter what the order were, they just carry it out complicitly. And I were always different in my time there. I never seemed to climb the ladder because they could see, because they only bring the fellow men up, don't they? Who the right people are to climb the ladder.
Yeah,
I just weren't like that. I didn't like giving orders to other people. I'd end up asking them instead of giving orders, and yeah, I didn't like authority right from word go, really.
Yeah, that kind of describes me right from me being at school. So yeah, I'm completely with you there. Was there anything in particular that sort of sparked you?
Not really, no. It was just the training that we had. It didn't seem to suit. I mean, if we went to war now, I'd be absolutely terrified because some of the lads who were there, I wouldn't trust them with my life. There'd be no way. And most of the time, we'd spend most of his time sweeping up and painting his wagons instead of doing what I'd expect before I joined to be doing army things such as training and learning and just basic skills. But most of the time we took up with painting and sweeping. I mean, we had a royal visit one time when we were over in Germany, and we had lads painting grass green. You know, I mean, how far do you go? Just for these people in charge. I mean, they just wanted everything. I just right from word go, I used to grow my hair as well, and I used to shave it underneath. So when I put my berry on, I looked like I had short back and sides. But as soon as I took my berry off, that were it. Davis, go and get your hair cut. It was like a daily occurrence where I had to get sent to the barbers, and I'd just take like a couple of centimetres off. So then I weren't the best person to get along with the sergeants and the officers.
So you were just...
Yeah, that were another thing. Well, the officers, I mean, if you were in the army for like 15 years and you'd be promoted to staff sergeant, and then you've got a young lad who goes to Sandhurst College down London, who's got a degree, he's been able to get into Sandhurst. He comes out after a couple of years training, and he can order somebody with 15 years experience what to do. And he has to follow it complicitly just because of rank. I mean, that was part of the big hitting home thing there. Just because of rank and who you are determines what you can say to people.
Yeah, it's clear to me that rank and that don't really sit very well with you.
No. I mean, we all got here the same way.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
We all got here the same way, so we're all equal. We're all equal. There's no man greater than no other.
Yeah.
And wealth and material value, it's not true wealth. And the best things in life are free, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I always think, what can you take with you? What did you come with, and what can you take back?
Yeah,
Nothing.
You can't take nothing back with you, can you?
No, of course you can't. Of course you can't.
You can't take nothing. The only thing that you take back are memories.
Yes.
And dreams.
So how long were you indoctrinated into the British Army for?
Oh, I were indoctrinated for about 6 years. 6 years, yeah. And I mean, I used to box for the army. I played rugby for the army under 21s, and I were an extra. I did like it. I mean, some of the training and what it installs in young people is a good thing, but what it leads to is something else.
What was it? What's that you think it leads to? That is.
Well, just following orders complicitly. I've seen some army lads in my town, and I've took my time to go and speak to them. And I often say, you know, if there were ever a conflict in this country where the state or the government asked you to come out onto the streets, would you fire upon your fellow men? And every time I've asked them, they've all given me the same answer. They've all said, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's frightening. It's frightening when you know the people who are there entrusting you entrusting them your lives to fight for you, and then they all agree that if they were given the order, they'd shoot on the fellow men. I mean, in Preston, there's a monument there in Preston where there were a bit. I can't remember whether it were the coal, the mines, when the mines were shut down, but the army opened fire on civilians there as well and killed some of them, and there's a statue to, in their memory.
Mm. I mean, it's just a belief system, isn't it? It simply is that. It's just a belief system.
Yeah, I mean, to control the men's minds, it's the media and the literature. That's how you control the men's minds, isn't it? So I think that's where we need to start.
So you were in the army 6 years. Did you sort of get to the end of your contract with them? Did you buy yourself out? Did you? What happened?
Yeah, no. I signed off and I served my time, served me 6 years, and had been noticing and got out. Yeah, I had a young girlfriend who was pregnant, so that was my time to leave.
Yeah,
that was my time to leave. I mean, they did ask me to stay, and open, empty promises. Oh, we'll get you an house and. Well, you can do this and you can do that, and all these empty promises. But no, I didn't bother. But right at that time, I could see back then when they were taking army redundancies. I knew even before I left that that they were trying to create a European force. And that's like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I knew that they were going to create a European force.
Is that where you see it continuing to go now?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, yeah.
I mean, I've just been looking at some of this stuff today, and you see the size of the British forces getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you think, well, okay, what they're going to try and do then is get us to be part of a European army, but then behind the scenes you learn that they've the amount of money that's already sat there waiting to pump in You think, well, hang on a minute, what's going on now then? Because it looks like short term we're going to do the Europe thing, but long term, who knows?
Well, the long term, they've got the plan and they're going to stick to it, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, and it doesn't matter what we do, say, or think. Yeah.
No. They've got the plan and they'll take it to the very, and that's what they'll do. They'll take it to the very, very, very brink, right to the very, very brink. It doesn't matter. They can't turn around now. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late for anybody to turn around. They've got a direction they're going in, and that's it. And we can only do as best to make people aware of the direction they want to take us in, isn't it?
Well, was there not a Conservative MP the other day talking about conscription?
Yeah. Yeah, conscription. Well, when I were in the British Army, we used to go out. There's a few places in Germany. I spent a few years in Germany, and you'd stay in their camps. But whenever you were out on exercise, they used to do it in shifts. I mean, the British lads, you'd go out there and you'd never go back. Once you were out, you were out. But they used to change shift at dinner time and change shift at tea time. And then it were a completely different way of soldiering compared to British lads. Completely different. And I actually went, I did a transfer once, and I went to the German air defence. Because that was my nature, I was in air defence. So for 6 years, that's what we did on Rapier, which were like a surface-to-air missile.
Yep.
It were high tech. It were very high tech back then. Very high tech. But it's moved on from then, I think. Now it's called a high velocity missile. Yeah. Yeah, but...
Yeah, there were... I know where I was born and bred in Scunthorpe, and Curtin in Lindsay, they had Rapiers.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That was my old regiment, 16 Air Defence Regiment. That's the one.
Yeah.
And they left for Curtin Lindsay, and we had the privilege of going and living in Dortmund for 3.5 years.
So you spent 6 years of your life looking into the sky and wondering what should be there and what shouldn't be there. So
well, after training, learning about what flies in the skies, what markings they have, basic aircraft recognition training.
Yeah.
And then the years leading afterwards, after I've got out, I've started noticing, me and a few of my friends have started noticing like things that are in the sky that necessarily shouldn't be there according to any of the military training which I've had. So doing a little bit more investigative work, like contact the aviation authority, looking at what should be there, what the civil side, not just the military side, and what needs to be required by an aeroplane to fly above us in the skies. And there's definitely some sort of strange phenomena that's going on in the skies. Probably, well, it's guaranteed. If you were to come to Burnley, it's a big UFO place. From Burnley to Bradford and up to Harrogate, it's pretty much countryside. And
you've got is it Menwith Hill up there?
Menwith Hill's probably about half an hour, 40 minutes away.
Right.
The big American base up there. Well, I can remember going up there, and the first time I drove past there, they were like 2 golf balls.
Yeah.
But if you drive up there now, it must have 20.
Yeah.
And we've got one it's just down the outskirts of Burnley. And we've got our own little one on top of an hill here as well. Which is obviously, I mean, is that where all his texts and all his emails and is that where everything's collected and it all goes through to Menwith Hill? And is that a data collection point, Menwith Hill?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, there was talk about the AWACS that they have flying around. That used to fly out of area of Warrington. And I know a kid who worked on them, and he said you'd be amazed what those things suck out the sky.
Wow.
So who knows? So you spent all that time looking into the sky, and then you find yourself now looking into the sky and seeing things that you don't recognise. Yeah, well,
it's
what is it that you've seen?
They look. I mean, they look like stars. The other night, I was sat in my car, and it's called the Great Bear, the star formation. That was like a pan, yeah.
Yeah, the plough, yeah.
The plough, yeah. So I was sat here in my car, and it like comes round. It's like a question mark.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of it, there were like these two big bright lights, and they were just hovering there, just there. And then all of a sudden, one disappeared, and then the other one disappeared. And I mean, you can. A couple of my friends, we've got a few lights that we use to shine into the light sky. It's really, you know. And when we these objects that I can only describe as objects, they flash lights back at us. They change direction. They disappear out the sky. A couple of my friends have actually they've gone to run off because they've come right toward us. Yeah, it's unequivocal. Unequivocal. If anybody were to come up and video it with a good camera, unequivocal. And even during the day, I mean, we were coming back from town, me and my friend one day. There was some gentlemen fishing on the canal, and as you do, have a casual chat and see if they've caught out. And as we were, having a general chat, the UFO, just in general chat, the UFO thing come up, and my friend turned around and he looked in the sky, and it was like, all I could describe it as were a marble or something spherical, a transparent ball, and it was just hovering there. And it didn't move.
So this is daytime, this?
Daytime.
Right.
Daytime, during the day. Yeah. Daytime, during the day. I mean, I've seen some sort of cloaking device, maybe, I don't know. I mean, the technology, what they've got, the years, they just don't release anything, do they?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to, in the past couple of years, I mean, I've always been very, is there anything flying around? Who knows what it is? I don't know. And I've never been aware that I've seen anything. But in the past couple of years, I've spoken to some incredibly intelligent and very rational people who say exactly the same sort of thing that you're saying. And you think, well, there has been a huge increase in UFO sightings in the last few years. And I mean, Tony, our producer, he's just put that in the Skype chat, and I know that because people that have, I wouldn't class as batshit crazy or anything, are all saying, we don't really like to talk about this, but this has happened, and a lot of people describe the same thing.
It's unequivocal. I mean, it boils down to anything that we talk about today, which is the opposite from the norm. Some people, they just don't want to know. They don't want to register it. You can tell until the cows come home. You could put a month's wage on it, and they still wouldn't come. They still wouldn't come. They wouldn't spend the time, energy, or effort. But I put that down to the manipulation through media and TV, and but they're also too busy. They've got too much to think about with the tax returns and getting work and what they're doing at weekend, what football's on, and etc. etc.
Yeah, and who's dying in EastEnders this week?
Yeah, and what's happening in EastEnders exactly? Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on what these phenomena are?
Well, it's for the movement what they create. From my experience, and through my military training and through my life experience, I wouldn't like to say, because if I were to hazard a guess, I'd be lying. But I could put a best guess, and my best guess, balls of energy. Is it technology that we know, that they know about, such as electromagnetism? Is that what gives it the shine? I mean, they look like orbs, and I mean, for 2 weeks, every single night at around 9:30, 10 o'clock, it flew right. It used to fly right over our town, right over the houses where I live, silently, no noise, and it was just like a star, but 6 times the size. And we used to get his binoculars, try to look at it, find out what it were. And I mean, if anybody listening to this show wants to put the pedal to the metal and come and have a look for themselves, just contact me. and I can show you unequivocal evidence.
Well, Scribble in the chat room, he's come up with a great theory, and that's that they were checking if the fishermen had got rod licenses.
But that's the sort of extremes that they would go to, wouldn't it? Using technology like that just to weed out people who need a rod license, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
they're a special rod license UFO man.
Yeah, there you go. He's in charge of that. Yeah, it's just whenever you mention, the word UFO, most people would go, "Oh God, he believes in little green men."
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? That's the biggest manipulation through the media, the TV, and that side of the industry is for people to think that straight away. I mean, as soon as you mention UFO, it's like an instant conversation killer. Sometimes it's just. It just kills conversations because it's that far out for some people. Yeah. But they don't understand what it actually is. It just means an unidentified flying object, which could mean a whole host of things.
Yeah.
A whole host of things.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, it could be military. It could have come from, wherever.
It could. I mean, that was one of the things that we wanted to do, me and my friends, is like, because they all seem to go along the same path. That's what I've noticed where we live. They all seem to go like from a southerly direction to a northerly, northeasterly direction.
Well, I've got a couple of questions here from the chat room. Here we go, Cal. Big Ball Lightning, basically, is one... Well, it's not a question, it's a statement. Does the guest live near high hills or mountains or open inland water? And that's from Freeman Jack.
We've got a fairly large hill near us called Pendle Hill, which is about 80 feet from under a mountain. That's why That's why it rains a lot. That's why it rains a lot around here. We could do with levelling it, but it's called Pendle Hill.
It rains a lot in Burnley because you deserve it. That's why it rains in Burnley.
We're all bad people in Burnley. We all deserve to get rained on through this geo-engineering weaponry that they've got. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point to start on then, isn't it? Let's go geo-engineering.
You've just mentioned geo-engineering, and I know when we were having a chat last week, just on a Skype call, you'd come up with some information about geo-engineering. So it is with that one.
Yeah. Right. Well, it started about 3 years ago for me, the geo-engineering side, where I decided that I wouldn't be complicit, but I'd actually take some action, and take action not just for me, but not just for my family, but everybody who can't take action. I just thought to myself, right, I've had enough of it. Let's try to do something about it. Even just anything that I could do, I did. So I went to see my MP, and he were a guy called Gordon Birtwistle. He were a Liberal Democrat, and when I went in, I were the master. I were the king that day, and I was saying to him, look, I'm telling you through my military training, this is what I know, this is what I see. I mean, furthermore, in the military training, it says to you in your nuclear, biological, chemical warfare training that the military provide is this state that if you see planes flying overhead, dispersing materials, it's time to raise the alarm and get your kit on. I mean, we should all be walking around in NBC suits and respirators. Yeah. Can you imagine if everybody woke up one day, it's back to kids having gas masks under seats at school.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and he wasn't very forthcoming. But he never saw me again. I was trying to contact him, trying to arrange a meeting. He never saw me for another year. So then Labour got in, and a lady called Julie Cooper, my local MP, I went down and I tried with Julie Cooper. Julie Cooper, I must say, has tried to help a little bit, but all she's done is probably followed protocol when people asks about that subject, what direction to try to take me. So she's took me in the direction she wanted to. Okay. Well, that's what I think, so... but I raised the alarm about the aluminium, what they're using to spray us with, that it causes Alzheimer's, how much Alzheimer's has gone up over the past 15, 20 years around the world. So that raised some alarms. So I ended up getting some feedback from Julie and some of the people involved with a research team down south. And the first letter stated about the universities that were looking into it, which were Oxford University, Bristol University, and Leeds University. So when on receipt of them letters, I actually thought, right, well, here we go. Then let's phone these people up and let's see what information we can gain. Anyway, so I didn't get very far. It ended up ringing and putting the phone down and a call back, and there were no will there at all to help me out whatsoever. The phone kept cutting off. So after a few days, I got a bit sick of it. So again, I waited for a few weeks, went back down to see Julie Cooper with the letters, etc., told her my state. So we went from there again, and she asked me what I wanted. I said, well, what I want is I want evidence, a receipt from you to show that you're doing your duty under your oath, because your oath is honourable. So let's see if you can honour that. And I did speak to her, as professionally as I could do, and because I put it to her that what is going on is genocide.
Yeah.
Because people are being sprayed. There's things being put in the water, nobody's consent, it's been forced on the people, and if they force anything on the people, it's like aspartame. You can go to the shop and every bottle of cordial's got aspartame in. It's all sugar free. They don't even give you a choice. So when they don't give you a choice, it's bad. It's really bad. So so the last letter that I got back, Julie Cooper wrote a letter to the Secretary of State for Business Strategy and Environment, and Nick Hurd MP. It took about 4 or 5 weeks for a return letter from him, but in this letter from Nick Hurd MP, it actually states in black and white that the government state that there's no active geo-engineering taking place. The government aren't complicit in any spraying of the populations, but that the government state that they support research into geoengineering. Now, how can you carry out research, flying planes, spraying stuff from planes without actually, do they have? I said earlier, didn't I? Did they have like a little fish tank with like nano-sized aeroplanes, with like nano-sized trees and nano-sized lakes? And
the only way you can do research into the only way you can do research into something like that is by doing it
on a mass scale, mass scale.
Yeah,
and and during the day, today I'm sat here. We've actually got blue sky. We've got blue sky, but to my left, it looks like the heavens are going to open, and just in front of me, we've got actual blue sky, which is a privilege because blue sky very often. We've got this like white screen behind everything to stop us seeing it. And I see, and the Matrix, the film, it happens there, doesn't it? They've got like the whole sky is covered in cloud, and they break free, and they come through it, and it's there. They put stuff there. They tell everybody about it. This is what they do, isn't it?
Yeah. I fully expected that because of what we'd be talking about tonight. If Freeman Jack was around, he'd be putting quite a few comments in the chat room, which he's done. So I'm just going to read some more out. These are from Freeman Jack. An isolated silicate-rich hill will reduce the spark gap between the ground and the upper atmosphere. So I think that's getting back to the UFOs. Next one, creating localized electromagnetic effects. Oh, sorry, it's all part of the same message. I see, yeah. Earth lights are known and mostly understood with volcanoes and fault lines, but disregarded in atmospheric physics. So there we go. I know that one of Freeman Jack's pet subjects as well is spraying in the sky. Because I know that,
yeah.
Well, from conversations that Jack and I have had, his thought is it's just the way that the fuel's burnt very lean, so they're not actually spraying anything. Now, I've got my probably best mate's son works for a very, very, very well-known jet engine manufacturer in Derby, and he actually works on the side of things where they actually get the engines to burn very lean. And when I asked him about, what do they put in the fuel, or is it pods in the, what is it? Oh, there's nothing that comes out of a plane apart from spent fuel. Right, okay then. So that is the official line. That is the official line.
Yeah, well, I got sent a link the other day from a guy who lives in Oxford. And, when I tried phoning these places up, I didn't get anywhere. But this gentleman's been down, he lives around Oxford, and they've actually got a college there called the Martin College, which is dedicated to geo-engineering.
Right.
Dedicated to geo-engineering. And actually, you can actually go on the Martin School website and find out a whole host of things about the subject. So they're actually carrying it out. They're taking funding from the government. They must be taking state funding.
Well, I was just going to ask you, where does the funding come from? What have you found?
Well, this is, I haven't found anything. This is one of the topics that I said to Julie Cooper. These are the things that I wanted to know. I said...
Oh, have we lost Karl? I think we've lost Karl. Yeah, I'm looking at Tony Hurst at the minute, and he's sort of nodding his head. I think we've lost Karl. Tony, shall we play a tune and see if we can get Karl back on the call? Yeah, we'll drop in with a track. No doubt this one's from Deke Jackson.
Swine flu, global warming, terrorist bombing, chemtrail skies, NWO, Zionism 2012, Nibiru, oil Armageddon's coming for you. I just got here and so did you, but now we gotta save the fucking planet too. I'm sick and tired of economic woes, people waking up and saying now I know. Something on the internet didn't change nothing yet, never read much about what to do. Zionism 2012, Nibiru, oil Armageddon's coming for you. Depopulation, vaccination, demons in the spirit world and UFOs. Nah, had enough conspiracy theories about the shit we're in and how deep it's a hole. We're the master making the grass green, no wrong or right, so what do you do? Deforestation, media manipulation, our extinction's making me blue. Everything wrong with the world, it's true. The problem is me and you. I'm sick and tired of hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, gobbledygook. Good guys, bad guys, us and them. Pick a side for a war with nukes. Everything wrong with the...
And welcome back to Raconteurs Too. Skype gremlins just grabbed us, but hopefully we should have Karl back with us right now. Are you there, Karl?
I'm here. I'm back. Them gremlins, the bad ones, aren't they?
Well, you start talking about stuff and we often wonder why, but, all we know is it drops out sometimes. So there we go. Right, so we're on about geoengineering and funding, and my question to you was, do you know where the funding's coming from? What have you found?
No, not the funding. I mean that's one of the biggest secrets of it all, isn't it? I mean, you follow the money and you find out exactly who's being. Yeah, it's one of them. It's down the Yellow Brick Road trying to find out that one. But that's one of the questions I'd have put to my MP. So I mean. Well, but it's obvious for me. I mean, we're funding it, aren't we?
Well,
we're funding it. We're all funding it. Everybody's funding us. We're all funding his own demise.
Yeah.
We've all applied for registration, so we're all, begging to give us rights away. Please spray me. Please spray me.
Yeah.
But it's not on. They need to stop it. They need to stop it. I mean, the wildlife, the bees. I mean, I look round. You can go up Townley Park. We've got a lovely park called Townley Park. But you can go up there. There's flowers and the springtime, but there's no bees. You know, that's another one of my big concerns is where's all the bees gone? Where's all the bees gone? Is it the pesticides that they're spraying? Is it the stuff what they're spraying out the planes? Is it why is there no bees?
Yeah, and yet every year I seem to hear on some BBC thing probably that they found this new strain of deadly killer wasp that's come from outer Mongolia or somewhere that's going to kill us all. And you think, well, it's just something else that's going to kill us all. And I think, well, so if they can survive, then what about our bees?
Where that's where are all our bees? I mean, there is none. I mean, for me, it's like it's like the film Hunger Games. My kids love watching them films, so I've sat down and watched it with my kids, and it's like that's like a sort of reality for me. In that film, they've got these like wasps that they call them crackerjackers, and when you get bit by them or stung by them, you start hallucinating, and I can see that's the way it's going. I can see these people genetically modifying every single thing that they can to benefit them. Benefit them.
Yeah, and of course,
messing with God's creations. I mean, they're meddling in things that they're not qualified to meddle in. They think they know everything, but they know nothing.
And with anything like that, you can't uninvent it.
No, you can't. Once something's known, it's always known.
Yeah. And
once it's invented, that's it. I mean, it's like the genetically modified foods. Or we'll just test it. We'll put a big fence around it, and we'll grow some genetically modified crop in these fields. Well, what about all the rest of crops around them fields? What about them?
Because the few bees that we have got don't recognise a fence, do they?
No. I mean, how can we stop these people? The only way I can see how we can, it's numbers, isn't it? It's numbers. It's that 51%. It's that critical mass point. But the only way we can reach that critical mass point is for everybody else to start putting the dots together. And that's why everything's so disenfranchised out, like the UFO thing, the geo-engineering thing, the fluoride in the water thing, the stuff in his foods. I mean, one of my friends is a farmer, and United Utilities used to come up and spray his fields with the waste product from the water treatment plant. Now, back in time, they used to use the silage from the soil works to grow vegetables that people used to eat. But what happened is everybody started getting ill. So they banned that. That's against the law now. But what they've started doing is he's started spreading it on the fields, letting the cattle eat the grass. But that's fine. That's fine. You know, when you've got people with illnesses and they put in the waste down the toilet and it's not getting filtered out properly, because the filtration systems in the water systems, they don't take half the rubbish out, what should be took out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're drinking all sorts of stuff, plastic and the drugs and what people flush down toilet. You've got your household cleaners, the particulates in there, you know, they're that small, they just go straight through.
I've got a comment in the chat room from Mithrin. The internet told me this week that we now have GM tomatoes that don't need bees to pollinate them. Quite easily, yeah.
Wow. So that's total dependency on the food growers, isn't it? That's Monsanto stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, another one.
Monsanto, total control.
Yeah, another one. It may be just a coincidence, but GM seeds are far more resistant to aluminium.
Right, well, that's designed. It's designed to be like that, isn't it? The GM seeds. What? I mean, to get rid of the aluminium, the most poisonous grounds. Let's get some hemp in there. Let's get back to growing hemp.
Yep.
Let's get back to growing hemp. 3 or 4 crops a year.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, is that another thing they're doing? They want us paper free, don't they? That's another thing. When I went to university, they wanted us paper free, and that's the way they're going. Anything to do with the services, government, they're going to be paper light. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest turning points for us as well, for mankind, because as soon as everything's digitalised, they just delete, don't they? if something is wrote on paper, it's wrote on paper, and you can't do it. You can't get rid of it unless you actually physically burn it.
I mean, it used to be paper trail, but now it's digital trail.
Yeah, digital trail. Yeah, digital
So
trail. Sorry, Ed.
No, you carry on, mate.
No, well, the paper trail, the paper thing is what's... Since we've been able to write ourselves and not just listen to us masters reading from hymn sheets, going to your local priest to find out what's going on.
Have you got somebody dying in the background?
Yeah, one of my mates has got a bad cough. Yeah. So I mean, I wonder why we're given the opportunity to learn read and write. Why did they let us read and write? What do you think that were about, Ed? Is that so they could take control of us as persons and citizens, and sign us lives away complicitly?
Well, my belief is that they needed us to be reasonably intelligent so that we could operate their machinery for the Industrial Revolution. Because before that, we were all just thick, dumb, and stupid.
Yeah.
And kept thick, dumb, and stupid. Now we're told we're intelligent because we're all supposed to pass tests for whatever industry we're in. But I think it goes back to the Industrial Revolution, because all of a sudden they needed a few of us to be able to read and write, so we could press buttons and operate machinery, which has obviously evolved through time.
Yeah, well, the opportunity to read and write has led me on to another bit of a subject. Well, the law, that's another subject that I've been on. I've got a lot of... one of my friends is a well-known face off the internet, a guy called Rusty. But the law side, I mean, it's been the biggest monkey in the room, isn't it? I mean, when I come out of the army, I thought to myself, I were better off in the army. You know, you come out of the army, it's like even worse out here than what it were when you're in there with the laws and the police and the council. The law, we need to revert back to the common law jurisdiction and actually take control of our own rights again. Because the police aren't doing it. They're just policy enforcement officers again, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they are, yeah. I can see what you mean by that, because I suppose while you're within the army, you've only got one set of rules and regulations to worry about.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, but and I know we are under military law, which is how they con us all into. Well, they con most people into paying council tax, but we are under military law, and apparently every morning in Parliament, the leader of the House says to the Speaker, "Are we still at war?" And they say, "Yes, we are." Right, okay, let's carry on then. Because we are officially at war, and I've been, perpetual. It's just
perpetual. Yeah. I mean, when was the last time the world were ever in peace? Have we ever been in peace? Has there been a time when where the whole world has been at peace? Has there ever been a time? Do you think?
I doubt it very much. I mean, that's another question. You know, I try to answer is how old's the Earth? How long have we been here? Well, I know what they tried to teach me in geography until I realised it was just a load of bollocks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that make me laugh is people we come from monkeys. You know, I mean, there's something that's crawled out. I mean, two cells bumped together in the sea. It started growing a nervous system. I mean, what come first, the nervous system or the heart, the lungs? You know, what evolved first? I mean, did it all evolve at the same time, which is impossible, but we'll go with that. And then it's crawled out the sea and it's made it like a fish, and then it's grown bigger and it's got area and it's got 4 arms and I mean, for me, I did a design course and it really hit home for me when I understood design. You know, you can sit in your house and you can look around you, and everything in your house has to be imagined. Whoever comes up with the idea, they have to imagine it, then they have to design it, and they have to get the materials to make it, and then it comes into fruition, it comes into reality. But there's a process, and every single thing that's ever existed and ever will exist has to go through that process. So when you open your door and you turn away from your TV and all your man-made stuff in your house, you look outside and you see the trees and the birds and the animals and nature. Where did that come from? Where did it come from? It can't come from nowhere. It has to go through the same process. It has to be designed. It has to be made.
Well, Darwin even said that his theory worked for everything apart from the human race.
Right. Did
So,
it? Well,
yeah.
Well, the Darwin thing. I mean, there's one guy wrote a book, and it's taught in every school.
As if it's a fact.
As if it's a fact. One guy wrote a book. I mean, he went on an arse holiday. He went to places where the other people weren't allowed to go. He had the privilege of going to Galapagos, etc., etc. He lived a life of Raleigh. I mean, come on. I mean, I wouldn't mind that job, would you?
No, it'd be pretty good to then
go
come up
around
with a
to
theory,
tropics. Yeah, we'll go around to tropics and we'll take his own crew with us and they can work as slaves and we'll have his team head for us and we'll go around and we'll document all the animals that are there on the island. I mean, what on holiday?
Yeah.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? But, I mean, that one guy wrote the book and it's taught in every school. Every school.
Yeah, it's
Every
just theories.
school.
And I think when I was at school, they say, oh, this is the theory of. And even back then, I was thinking, oh, if it's a theory, why are you bothering teaching me? It's not a fact.
Yeah. No, yeah, theories. You know, we need to get away from theories, don't we? I mean, that's where I've come from with the flat earth thing. I mean, let's go flat earth then, eh?
I tell you what, before we go to flat earth, and the reason I'm laughing is just because of the brief conversation you and I had the other night, Carl. But before, I'm not avoiding it, I promise. We are going to get to flat earth. Before that, you said about we need to get back to common law, and I want to ask you one huge question. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's something the people can understand. I mean, for a society, let's take the law society. Any society that exists, apart from what people can see and what people think they know as society. This society, what the people live in. But we've got other societies. We've got the Freemason Society. We've got the Rosicrucian Society. We've got the Rotary Club Society. We've got the Federation of Masters Society. Of all sorts of different things. But each society can write their own language. Now then, if each of them societies turn around and say, well, I'll tell you what, we'll use English language as our language. But what we'll do is, we'll just change a few of these words. We'll just change the word, like the meaning of application, and make it mean something else. And we'll change the word registration, what the people think is register. But we'll make it something else. And that's how they've took control, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That's how they've took control.
I mean, somebody once said to me, are you a member of the Law Society? And I said, well, no. He said, well, why the fucking hell are you bothered about what they say then? And he's quite right, quite right.
Yeah, so these societies, and that's what the common law, it does away with it. It doesn't matter. We're all on common ground, and it's as it should be. It's as we're all equal. I mean, did we not all get here the same way?
I believe so.
We all arrived here the same way. Well, I think that's up for a bit of a debate and a discussion, isn't it? Really, with the clone side of things, you know.
And your UFO sightings.
Yeah, and UFO. But so, yeah, the common law is the way to go. It's what people understand. People know what's right and wrong. People
do you know? I remember when I first sort of became aware of what was going on, and somebody said to me, "Well, you can teach a 2-year-old law. It's dead simple. Do no harm." It's quite right. My grandson knows law. Do no harm. He knows it's wrong to hurt somebody. It's wrong to steal somebody. It's wrong to kill somebody. He knows that. Yeah. And, he's at the age where he's stringing a few words together. Yet he knows the law. He knows the law. He doesn't know all this contract shite that they make a fortune out of.
An absolute fortune, yeah.
But I tell you what, his granddad's going to teach him all the stuff he needs to know.
Yeah, well, You know, well, everybody knows, don't they? Everybody knows it's inherent. I mean, I live in one of the most deprived areas of the country. And you can see that, I mean, there's some bad kids around here. You know, like you get your little tearaways.
Yeah.
But even when they're being bad, you can see it in the face. They know they're being bad.
Yeah.
You know, so you know when you're being bad and you know when you're being good. And you know what's right and you know what's wrong. But the situation where we are at the minute is the people who are doing wrong are getting away with it. And they're getting away with it on an industrial scale. And they're getting away with it right in front of people's faces. But it's like, well, when I talk about things with my colleagues at work and other people, well, what can we do? I mean, that needs to change. The same answer that I used to get, well, there's nothing we can do. That answer should be, well, what are we doing about it? What are you doing about it? This is what's going on. You want to go to this meeting because this is going on next week. Because this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, there should be more positive and less negative. There should be people banging on the doors to make change. It's that critical mass again, isn't it? It's that critical
I mean, the
mass.
one thing that almost every week on the show I ask, and it's a bit of a rhetorical question, what the bloody hell else have they got to do to everybody to make them wake up? Yeah, I mean, they pay a fortune in tax.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Are you there, Carl?
Gremlins again.
Oh, he's got his gremlins back. Carl, we can hear you. Carl, we can hear you. No, I think he's gone again. I'll tell you what, we normally play a tune about halfway through the show, and we're about 7 or 8 minutes away from that. So I think what we'll do is play a tune, and we'll see if we can get Carl back on the dodgy gremlin Skype line again. And no doubt this is another track from Deke Jackson.
We have come to visit you in peace and with goodwill. It is no concern of ours how you run your own planet. But if you threaten to extend your violence, this Earth of yours will be reduced to a burned out cinder. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. Face obliteration. Face obliteration. We have come to visit you in peace.
Bridge to captain, a message to you from the people of the planet, aka the crew. Some of them are angry, some of them have got guns. Won't change to the way that it gets done. Don't tell them that it's gonna be cool somewhere over the rainbow. Cause we don't buy that shit. Having a mutiny, taking the shit. What plan? What?
It is no concern of ours how you run your own planet. if you threaten to extend your violence, this earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder.
If all the paths we choose to take just finish just the same, what's the point in worrying what part I have to play? Hey, oh, we are here today to do the things we want to and say what we will say. Hey, oh, we are here today, and I may be here tomorrow, but I may be far away. The skies are full of wonder and there's all the galaxies, millions of light forms and endless mysteries. Everywhere you look there is a wonder that would stay with you for infinity and another day. Oh, hey, oh, we are here today to do the things we want to and say what we will say. Hey, oh, we are here today, and I may be here tomorrow, but I may be far away. The planet's choking on the stuff we shovel into it, and we just keep a shoveling and dig a deeper pit. The sky is full of poison and the sea is dying too, while we question is it true and wonder what to do. Oh, hey, oh, we are here today to do the things we want to and say what we will say. Hey, oh, we are here today, and I may be here tomorrow, but I may be far away. Spend a many day wandering the earth, pondering the meaning and the existential worth. If all the paths we choose to take just finish just the same, what's the point in worrying what part I have to play? The planet's choking on the stuff we shovel into it. We keep a shoveling and dig a deeper pit. The sky is full of poison and the sea is dying too, while we wonder what to do and question if it's true. The sky's full of wonders and there's all the galaxies, millions of life forms and endless mysteries. And everywhere you look there is a wonder that would stay with you for infinity and for another day. Oh, hey, oh, we are here today to do the things we want to and say what we will say. Hey, oh, we are here today, and I may be here tomorrow, but I may be far away. Hey, oh, we are here today to do the things we want to and say what we will say. Hey, oh, we are here today, and I may be here tomorrow, but I may be far away.
Here's a couple of tracks from Dick Jackson, One Planet and Hey Ho. Welcome back to Raconteurs Too. I've certainly got the Skype gremlins tonight because my PC just managed to crash. I've had to reboot everything, and I know Karl up in Burnley, he's struggling as well. And Tony Hurst doing an epic job of keeping everybody on board ship tonight. So thanks very much for that, Tony. So we're here with Karl Davies. Are you there, Karl? Fingers crossed.
I'm here.
Hey,
look at that. We're all here. We're all back.
I have no idea what happened. My computer just came up with a big blue screen of death. So
yeah, the strangest things. The strangest thing happened with technology, especially when it just won't let me search and it cuts me off. It's well filtered.
Yeah, there
well
we go.
filtered
Right.
in the house.
Before the break, you mentioned about common law, and nothing that you said got any disagreement from me, Karl. I absolutely agree, and I know you've been dealt a bad hand when it comes to repossession and business partners and all sorts of stuff. But the one subject that you do want to get onto tonight is flat Earth. Now, I'll tell you where I stand on it, and that is, I don't know. I've never looked into it. I've never researched it. But one thought I have got is, does it matter? Does it matter if we live on a globe? Does it matter if we live inside
it matters.
a honeycomb? Does it matter if it's flat, round, hexagon shape? Does it matter? And what I want you to do is tell me, well, firstly, how you came to it, but then why it does matter. I want you to change my mind.
Right. Well, let's see what we can do then. Right. It were a few years ago now.
Carl, can you get your mic a little bit closer to your mouth,
yeah.
Carl?
Can you hear me now? Is that any better?
That's better.
Yeah, it were a few years ago for me, and I seen it in the background for quite some time and never really bothered. I thought it was just too far out there because I were right down. I thought I was down the rabbit hole with the galaxies and the technologies and every star you see in the skies, another sun with planets orbiting around it, and if they're all planets, and there must be other people living out there somewhere. And I was right down there, and that was my belief for a long time, just wanting to go flying around up there and travelling. But through further research and understanding, I realised that it's impossible. You can't go up there. That nothing goes up there. Nothing goes past the Van Halen radiation belt. Anyway, apparently so.
Okay.
Apparently so. Yeah, but I've come to learn, and we're researching a lot of stuff and a lot of topics over the time. You do sift through an awful lot of rubbish. And there's lots of shills on there. There's lots of government agents on there. There's lots of people being paid to lead the people. And I mean, if you want to control the opposition, you lead the opposition. And they've been doing it right from the word go. They've always done it. They put somebody in the opposition to lead the opposition down grey areas constantly. But the UFO thing, I mean, it ties it in with that for me as well. I mean, what are they? Because with me being a flat earther, you know, I think about the firmament, or there's something definitely there. There's something definitely there. It's not right. Well, I mean, when we spoke the other weekend, and it were a full moon, and 2 inches to the side of the moon, there were a star, and the star looked closer than what the moon did, prospectively. It doesn't sit right. If that star were millions and millions and millions of miles away, there were no way you should have been able to see it through their scientific equations and evaluations of how light works and how it bounces off the moon and how it comes from the sun. You would not see that star. But it also, the flat thing, you can see if you go to the beach, you know, and actually test the numbers what they give. Just test the numbers what they give. A 26,000 mile circumference with a diameter of 4,000 miles, which gives it an 8 inch per mile squared dip. But you can go to numerous places all over the world where you can see mountains over 100 mile away, and they should be like below 1 or 2 mile of curvature. The salt lakes, the bay in America where you can see Chicago from the other shoreline. And
yeah, been there.
They come with excuses like light refraction and all the scientific long words. And basically, when you learn about perspective, and that's another thing. When I went to university, I did technical drawing, so I did a lot of perspective drawing, and I understand how that works. So when you put all these dots together, and you can go and test it for yourself. I mean, the information thing. There's 2 forms of information. First class, second class. Second class information is what we get told, what you get told, what you read in a book. It's like hearsay. He said, she said, he said, she said. Oh, he did, she say, he said. No. Go and test it for yourself. Go and look with your eyes and test it and write down what you see. What you see. Because what you see, you believe to be true, but you need to test it and evaluate it. Like Blackpool Tower. You could go to Pendle Hill, just up the road for me, and Blackpool Tower's nearly 60 mile away. But you can see the entirety of it from halfway up the hill. So that's 50 odd miles. It should be like a third of a mile below curve. But you can see all of it. You can see the shoreline. You can see the sea. You can see the horizon. And that's another thing, horizon, horizontal, sea level. When you put all the dots together, things don't add up what we've been taught at school. But for what shape it is, I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that everything that we've been told is a load of crap.
I mean,
and we need to weigh it up for ourselves. And there's an opportunity there for people to become famous. Go and find out what's there. Go and actually test it. The scientist Picard, the French, they were Belgian French or somewhere European, and he held the world record for the highest ascent and the lowest descent into the sea. And he built a capsule, and half of it was silver and half of it were black. So if he were going up there, it got cold, he could turn it to the sun, to the dark side to warm up. He was a really clever guy. But you don't get taught about him at school. You get taught about the people who had their clothes on, like Einstein, etc., etc. I mean, look what Tesla said about Einstein. He said he was just full of nonsense, theoretical nonsense.
And I know Tesla with the electricity. I mean, he was one clever guy.
Yeah, extremely clever guy.
So the flat Earth thing. When we were talking the other night, I said to you, "Why does it matter? What difference does it make?"
Well,
you know, we're all taught that we're a big ball floating around a big burning lump of something that's 93 million miles away, and there's lots of other different balls that sort of rotate with us.
Yeah, that's the stars go around in complete and utter concentric circles.
Sorry, Cal, just say that again. We seem to have had a dip in the signal there from Skype. So just say that last sentence again.
Well, the stars, they go around in complete concentric circles. If we were a globe spinning round, and then we were also going around the sun, and then the sun is also our whole solar system is apparently travelling through space and time at like around 600,000 miles an hour. Well, we don't see no movement. I can't feel any movement. And the way I can explain this, if you were to go to the park and you'd spin the roundabout round, and if you were to like take a run and jump and try jumping onto that roundabout while it was spinning round at some speed, there's no way you could land on it. There's no way you could land on it. So if the globe is spinning round at 1,000 miles an hour and a plane's coming to touch down and it's not in a perfect straight line with a spin, why don't it crash? How can they land? Why don't the planes just come up, hover, wait for the Earth to spin at 1,000 miles an hour on the equator and then land again? And that's the thing with the roundabout. If you were to travel from England, which it's probably spinning round at around 600 miles an hour, and then go to the equator where it's travelling at 1,000 miles an hour, you'd feel the difference. Your senses, you'd feel the difference. But you don't feel anything. It's just the same.
Right, okay.
It's just the same.
I mean, I certainly don't have any answers or...
But there's been other experiments. The Mitchinson and Morley experiment, where they took some light, and Einstein, it were all to do with Einstein, because Einstein were trying to prove the spin of the Earth. So what they did is they got some light and some mirrors, and they sent some of the mirrors the light east and some of the light west. And they said if the Earth's spinning at such a speed and 1,000 miles, blah, 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 that the light from the east should come back to the centre before the west one. So they couldn't prove no spin. It couldn't prove no spin. The Mitchell-Morley experiments there for everybody to see. That they couldn't prove no spin. And the stars, if we were spinning round, and we were also travelling there round the sun, the stars wouldn't be in concentric circles every night to the pole star. It just wouldn't. It's impossible. And that's another thing, the secrets, isn't there, in words that they use, like plane, aeroplane. Stick a T on the end of plane, what do you get? You get planet. You know, very coy. You must say they've been extremely clever people over time. How they've changed things and manipulated things so subtly so people don't see.
Yeah, I mean, everything's a play on words, absolutely everything. Which brings us back to law again. I mean, but, you know, if we're talking about the laws of physics, well, are they laws or are they just another theory?
Yeah, theories. They're just I mean, for gravity, gravity's the one, isn't it? But for me, you hold something up, the reason why it hits the floor, it's heavier and more dense. It's not a force pulling it down, you know? I mean, if there's a force, if the gravitational force, if you were to take all the oceans on the so-called sphere, on the globe, and try to put it into a weight of ton, you're talking billions of tons of weight that's spinning round at 1,000 miles an hour. So why doesn't the water collect on the outer rim of the furthest point? If you spin a tennis ball and it's got water on, concentric force, it'd just come off. But gravity's the excuse for why it stays on there. But gravity's a theory. So gravity's only a theory.
So what you're advocating is that the world is flat, that somewhere there has to be an edge to that flat.
Is there an edge? Is it an ever-existing plane? We don't know. I wouldn't like to say. Because I don't know. But what I would like to say is that we could do with finding out where we actually are. That'd be a great help. That's the ultimate starting point, isn't it? I mean, when nobody knows where we are. Everybody thinks they know where we are, but in reality, we really don't.
I mean, what I do believe is that the stuff that we're taught in school started in theories, and it's just like the ever-increasing lie that they've just got to keep perpetuating the lie so that they don't look stupid. So I don't know what the truth is. Yeah,
I mean, it's like when you've got kids, when you catch them doing something, sometimes they just lie through the teeth, don't they? They'll say anything to get away with it. And that's what the government's like, but on an industrial scale, you know.
Yeah.
On an industrial scale, they're like, oh no, little lies aren't good enough. Let's go for the really big lies, you know. Well, these little lies, they're just not good enough. Let's really hit home and go for the big lies. Because who said that? They won't believe it. It needs to be the biggest lie, otherwise the people will know. It needs to be the most ridiculous thing, and the people will believe it. And they have done for a long time.
So if I was to say to you, don't believe a word you just said, Karl, what would you say to me? Probably just a one-liner that would make me sit up and think.
About what, flat Earth?
About flat Earth. What would be the one thing that you would say to me to make me sort of look at myself and think about my own thoughts?
Genesis. Verse 1. Genesis, creation.
Right.
Big Bible man. I'm not... but there just seems to be an awful lot of truths in that book. An awful lot of truths. Because nowhere else does it tell you. Apart from, the Book of Enoch. That were another book that it explains exactly how it works. The Book of Enoch and the Bible, where it's fixed and stationary. And you can prove that it's fixed and stationary, that it doesn't move. So, in any other religious books, I can't say because I've not read them all. I know people who read other books, and I try asking them for their best opinions and research from what they know. But yeah, flat, stationary, plain.
Right. I mean, one story I do remember, and again, this is hearsay. It's something that's fed down to me. Was somebody on a plane traveling, God knows what speed, in a aluminium tube on the way to wherever they were going. And, you know, in the headrest in front of you, there's a screen and it says, you know, that you're flying southwest.
Yeah.
Well, according to his compass, he was going northeast.
Great, he's testing it. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's all about, testing. So why would they do that?
Yeah, so, there's certainly something. Whether or not it's flat, I just don't know. I'm open to persuasion. I am absolutely open to persuasion.
Yeah, well, I mean, my best guess is it's something like the movie Hunger Games and the TV series Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take them two and mix them together, it's not far. That's along those sorts of lines. That's what I think. For people to understand, that's what I think it's like. Like we're living in some sort of, I don't know, under some sort of dome, or there's definitely something above us. It's like, why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue? Has that question ever been answered? It's like, you ask your teacher at school, oh, the sky blue, and then that's it, isn't it? Why is the sky blue? And the stars, you know, I mean, there's some footage of stars online, and I've had a telescope and I've had a look myself, and they just don't seem to be what they say they are. I mean, there's a couple of good videos on YouTube. There's a lad sat in his bedroom, and he's laid down on his bed, and the sun's reflecting off the swimming pool in his back garden and reflecting on his roof in his bedroom. And when you put the two images next to each other, it just they're so similar. They're so connected. It's unreal. It just looks like. I mean, there's other experiments in there as well where you've got a glass jar and you put an air bubble in there, and you put a radio frequency through the bubble in the water, and it implodes and it implodes. But when it implodes, it gives off light. Now, when I look at the stars and I look at that experiment and I look at the night sky, I think to myself, they're not too dissimilar.
Okay, yeah, that's the theory. That's the theory. But, you know, different to the teachers, you're the first to say it's a theory.
Yeah, well, we don't know where we are. I mean, it is a theory, but we can only second guess. It's been the age of man to second guess what the stars are about and what the night sky's all about.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing that we are definitely agreed on, and that's the shit that they teach you at school is a complete and utter pile of bollocks.
Oh, absolute testicles. I mean, they're still teaching kids today that, what is it, Columbus found America? I mean, come on.
What about the people that were already living there?
You travel west, you can't miss the bloody place, can you? It goes from North Pole, apparently, to the South Pole. You know? You can't miss it. You travel that direction, you're going to hit land somewhere, aren't you? Oh, blimey.
I mean, when they say, oh, this person discovered this place and this, I always think, well, what about the indigenous people that were already there? Did they not discover it first?
Yeah, they originated there, didn't they?
You know, and it doesn't matter whether you're on about Australia, America, wherever they were supposed to go away and discover. You know, that was just a good excuse for our royal family, as supposedly are, to stick a flag in a beach and claim it. Yeah,
well, they've done a grand job of that so far, haven't they? And they've done an absolute grand job, and they're still doing it today, aren't they?
Yeah, in one way or another, for definite. Yeah, for definite.
Still doing it today.
I'm just going to plug my guest for next week is Rob Halford. Is my nocturnal Australian friend. I spoke to him about an hour before we came on air, and he lives in Melbourne, Australia. And some of the research and stuff that he's done, but most of it is about the history of England, Great Britain, United Kingdom, etc. And his knowledge on it is phenomenal. So if that's your bag, have a listen next week, because Rob's always very entertaining. Very.
I mean, I've done a little bit down that line. I've listened to a few cinemas, and I did a little bit of research into that myself with what's it called? Merlin, he was the king, King Arthur.
Yep.
King Arthur, yeah, he were a real guy, weren't he?
Well,
Yeah, instead of a myth and a legend, he were an actual guy, and it's all to do with Wales, isn't it? I think you've had a guy on your show before. Is it Michael Bercia?
oh, Michael Albanese, yeah, he was on with Andy and Jason a few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's done a lot of work into the history of England. Albia, can you remember that from his seminar? Yeah, Albia.
Yeah.
Is that what we used to be called, England?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting, yeah, and King Arthur and the Welsh language and how it's in. I watched it the other day, actually, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And that writing on them rings and on them scrolls, is that our original language from Wales and Old English, maybe?
Well, apparently there's still some cavers and potholers in Wales who are still looking for the bodies of King Arthur.
Right.
Even to this day. I've got some comments in the chat room. I'm just going to blast these through one after the other. Adolf Hitler, the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. Who's this one? Not sure. Oh, here we got Tony a few minutes ago. I've seen a lot of footage of planet taken from Earth. The footage can't be trusted due to atmospheric refraction and the havoc it plays on optics. I can't take a photo across the Thames without distortion. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Richard D. Hall did a good show on Arthur. Richard D. Hall was in Mansfield, I think, last weekend doing a seminar. There were two kings called Arthur, according to Alan Wilson. That's from Andy Young, just a few seconds ago he posted that one. But yeah, I mean, Andy went to the Richard D. Hall conference last weekend, so I mean, he's obviously been up for that one. Yeah, right, Carl. Anything more you want to cover on Flat Earth?
No, I think that's about it. I think all I can say is go out and test it for yourself. Go out and test it. Go out and learn the parameters and the numbers, what they say, where we live. Where we live. And for the reason why it matters, I mean, financially, let's just talk financially. How much money does NASA get?
Oh.
How much money do these space sciences get? And why does it matter as well? Look at the institutions. Look at the sciences. Look at the people in these telescopes getting paid vast amount of money. What have they been looking at? What have they been looking at, and what are they waiting for? Or why are they taking all this money off everybody when they know exactly where we are?
Yeah, I mean, that certainly answered my question. Why does it matter? And yeah, I take that on board.
Yeah, in creation, I think the ultimate reason why it is hidden is, it proves an awful lot of things that I wrote in some books.
Just had a really good comment from Andy Young. Alan Wilson also claims he's found the Ark of the Covenant in Wales, but the farmer who owns the field won't let him dig for it.
Well, let's hope he has.
Yeah.
We'll go down to the farmer and tie him up.
So it was only seriously the other day, I caught something probably on YouTube, and there's these guys in Wales who are seriously trying to find King Arthur. So
yeah, it's brilliant.
More power to your elbow. Let's see if we can find him.
Yeah,
right, Carl.
Yeah.
So we've looked at UFOs, we've looked at flat Earth, we've looked at geoengineering. I want to get down to some personal nitty-gritty so that people know basically who Karl Davies is. And what you mentioned to me was that you basically got kicked out of your comfort zone, which is generally when people learn, through a bad business partnership that just went completely wrong. You also told me that you've had your home repossessed, and then you realised that law and religion and the law within religion was all there to bite you on the arse. What is it that happened to you?
Yeah, well, I established a business. I mean, I've always worked for myself. I've never claimed out off the state, and I've always found my own way. And at one point, I had up to 9 staff, and everything was going swimmingly. Anyway, one of my staff, I decided he was a good lad, I thought, and took him on as a business partner. He invested some money. I paid him back over about 6 months, and everything was going fine. And 1 year, his brother ended up being treated for stomach ulcers, but unfortunately at 26 he had stomach cancer.
Oh dear.
So, but at this time we'd been working together for about as my partner for about 12 months. So at that time it was really stressful. His attitude started to change, which I thought I could understand, and put up with a lot that I shouldn't have put up with, really. But I did for the benefit, for the understanding of his family. So a bit further down the line, he ended up taking my van and my staff and my tools, and went to work for someone else behind my back, which left me in a bit of a predicament. So within a few years, I ended up losing my business and losing my house. When I lost my business, when it started really hitting home about the situation and what these people are, and I always worked. I used to work 3 weeks full at a time, and then have a few days off. I've supplied everything my family's ever needed, and when this incident happened, and I was unfortunate enough to lose my house, I went for the council for help, and they were just unwilling. There were no help there whatsoever to help me with my finances, to help me with my mortgage, any advice, absolutely nothing. I mean, I phoned up for benefits, and basically they turned around and said, because you've earned over £34,000 this year, you're not entitled to any benefits till after April, and this will like December. And it's like, are you being serious? Are you really being serious? I used to pay a £20,000-30,000 a year corporation tax bill. I used to pay Class 1 national insurance. And when it come down to it, when I needed some help, the door shut slam right in my face. And that's what really started hitting home about the situation and how they treat people and how they use the law, and they don't care about you. They just want the house, or they just want the money. And that's when I started. Not soon after that, the realisation of the Law Society and the separation, if you will, of the two sets of law and the laws that we should be living under. But it takes something serious, unfortunately, for people to turn and start looking for answers to the questions. And when you start finding the real answers to your questions, you can't deny the facts, and you just have to go on.
Yeah.
You're going on the direction that you think's right, and if that means giving some of your time up and actually learning about the law, and actually learn to stick up for yourself, because there's no one else going to stick up for you. Nobody. I mean, people want spoon feeding. They just want spoon feeding. They're always asking, how can we do this? How can we do that?
Yeah.
But it's you can't help them all the time. Everybody's got enough on the plate. I mean, I'd love to do it full time. I'd love to help people full time. But you can't. You can't sort your own stuff out.
No. I mean, I've been chatting to a chap today, and he's on the verge of losing his business. And he went to a solicitor for some advice, and he just ended up in a worse situation than he started off in, with a bill for £1,300 plus VAT.
Yeah, well, another thing that I learned going through that process is, if you've got a business and things fall foul and your business gets liquidated, who gets all your assets? You know. The
Well,
Duchy of Lancaster. If you live up here, it's the Duchy of Lancaster collects all the assets from liquidated companies, which is in conflict with their oath, because under their oath they're not allowed to benefit financially at all by anybody, and that's what they do. They're benefiting financially, and that's what we've got. We've got the ruling class and the slaves, the person slaves.
So what about the creditors? Do they?
Yeah, they pass it on to the Dutch. It's the Queen's State. That's who claims all their assets. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is frightening, because that's in breach of their oath. It's in breach of their oath. But they don't. People want to form a police station over the past couple of days, and let's have a quick natter about that, Ade, about my van.
You go wherever you want to go, Carl. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a van. I took it in part payment on a job, and I've tried implementing and using my rights for the past 12 months, just coming up to, and I've had no problem. Anyway, I will go in for a snooker match. I play a bit of snooker, and I set off up my street, and I got pulled over outside my house by a policeman who wouldn't commit to his oath, who then phoned 3 of his mates, turned up, who wouldn't give me the details, wouldn't give me the names, wouldn't commit to their oath. One of them actually said it's obvious we're acting as officers, which is acting out of jurisdiction,
Yep.
which is gross misconduct in public office, which amounts to fraud.
Yeah.
Now, I've been to the police station 2 days on the run and tried to get the sergeant to answer my call, because my van's been in the pound now, and it's getting to that time where if I don't do something about it, it's going to go. So, because I've been so busy at work, I've just got some carbon paper today, so I'll be writing a notice of intent, which is going to be followed by a notice of claim. Now, hopefully, this is what we have to do to stick up for ourselves, because the ball's in our court. And this is what they mean. They like playing a game, but everybody rolls over. So I've made a decision a long time ago to stop playing ball and start playing my tennis game. I'm not playing their tennis game anymore.
So why did they impound your van?
Well, they said it wasn't insured. So I said, I do have insurance. It's called national insurance.
Which technically is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so the technical side of it, he couldn't come back with an argument. And basically what happened were he assaulted me for my keys. He wrestled with me while I was holding some other items and assaulted me to get my key off me. He then persisted on calling his friends and bringing his friends round, because I was trying to implement common law and try to sort the jurisdiction out, but they wouldn't accept it. They just wouldn't accept it. They kept skirting around it. They wouldn't answer. All they were interested in is waiting for the guy to come and pick my van up. So anyway, 5 minutes later, while I was trying to stop him removing my van, one of the guys from the removal company turned up, and I said to him, "Don't touch my van." And one of the officers were like, "Stop speaking to him. You're not allowed to speak to him." And I said, "Well, are you trying to what jurisdiction are you acting under now?" He said, "Go over there and stand there." I said, "Is that an order?" Because after an order, you get a bill, don't you? So I was stood there, and he gave me an order. So while this guy sat there in this wagon, he's ordered me to stand still. So I'm fulfilling his order. I was asked, and I'm trying to speak to the guy in the wagon, and I'm still under order. So I said to the guy in the wagon, "Look, don't touch my van, because if you touch my van, I'm going to get a claim against you for theft." So the guy in the truck looked at me, stuck his thumb up, and went, "Right, sound," and drove off. So the next minute, these two officers, 2 of them had already left. There were 2 left. These 2 officers, one of them who assaulted me for my key, they were pretending. As I look back in hindsight now, I realise what he was doing. He was pretending to be on his radio, and they were walking down the street. He's like, "Yeah." He's just round it's 2 minutes. He's literally just round the corner. Anyway, as he's walking down, speaking on his radio, he jumped in my van and drove my van off. I couldn't believe it. He actually drove my van off, which is apparently uninsured. So what's he doing driving my van off?
Right, okay.
So I were absolutely amazed. So, and another startling fact on this, I went up to the recovery place the other day on Thursday. I took a bit of time off and tried to see if I could get some of my effects out of the van. And when I was speaking to the owner, I ended up speaking to the owner of the recovery place, because I said to him, he's a friend of my dad's, believe it or not, and I said, I don't really want to stick you on notice. So he turned around to me and gave me the company's name who he's working for. So, but where do you stop? Why do you have to go through all this rigmarole just to have your rights implemented by the people who we employ? Is their job to implement the rights, but they're not implementing the rights. They're implementing profit.
Well,
profit,
the reason
that's what they're implementing, profit margins.
for anybody who listens to the show regularly, you'll know that my brother was a traffic police officer for 30-something years till he retired. About 3 years ago he retired, and then his wife about 18 months ago, she was also in traffic. In fact, that's where they met. And I tell him about laws and stuff, and and he just says to me, where do you get all this rubbish from? And I said, you know what that means? That just means that for 32 years you were enforcing laws that you didn't even understand. You had no idea what they were, where they were from. All you did was follow a policy. Yeah,
well, under their laws, if one of the officers were to come to you with a sheet of paper, and you were to ask him, say, well, can you tell me what that word means? Tell me what that word means. If he can't tell you what that word means in his acts and his statutes, he has no authority over nobody. If he can't explain what them words are, not what the sentences are, but what the actual words in them acts mean, they have no authority. Because we're all men and we're all equal.
I think the one thing that's changed for me is when it comes to dealing with the police, I don't ask them if they're on their oath. I tell them that I accept their oath and I hold them to it.
Yeah.
And when you put it like that, they, even if they don't know what you mean, they sort of sit there and they go, and you can see the cogs going round. But they just taught that because somebody who's got more stripes says one thing, that's what they've got to do.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in fancy dress, aren't they? I mean, you go on holiday to Spain, and they're all running around in their trunks on the beach, and they all look like the next man. But what they seem to, I mean, is it part of the TV and the media, like these Superman films and these people with special powers, these people who work in the police force, do these films have some sort of telling effect on these people in positions of power?
Well, I mean, I've said many times before that when I was at school, there was one kid who was definitely going to end up in prison. And I think it was about 6 weeks after he left school that he was in prison. You just knew he was going to be. But nowadays, those people become coppers.
Yeah, well...
because that's what they're trying to... The people they want to recruit are the ones who are easy to brainwash.
Yeah, they need to be open to suggestion, don't they?
Yeah, and I mean, Tony's just written a really good comment here. The reason why it's simple, it's the corporation, and its number one obligation is to make money, and that's exactly right. They're not there to protect me and you; they're just there to make money. Money. We don't count at any corporate level at all, which is absolutely true. We just don't.
Well, this is what I tried to say to people. Why is the world like this? Why do we all have to get up in the morning? Why do we all have to go to work? Why do we all have to slave away just to survive? Just to survive. I mean, my mate who's a farmer, he'll go to cattle market, he'll give the guy 100 and odd quid, buy a sheep, he'll take that sheep home, he'll feed it, look after it, put it in at night, get its hair cut, get its feet trimmed, and he looks after it like it's his best pal. Why aren't we treated like that?
Yep.
We're not. There's absolutely no. I mean, I say to people, the Queen. Let's talk about the Queen for a moment. What has she done for it? Tell me one thing that she has ever done good for the people of this country. One thing, just one thing, and none of them. Nobody can ever come up with anything. It's like the energy, the free energy thing, the technology thing that's been kept away. My grandma, she used to have a coal fire, and she ran a pension. Her husband died, my granddad, but she used to sit there and she used to wonder whether to put on, whether to pay for some coal, or buy some extra food. Excuse me. Or pay for some, so tight, budgeting so tight, and that's another form of genocide. It's another form of genocide. It's another form of control.
Yeah.
But all these controls lead to the same thing, and that's just to stamp us down with a big black boot.
Huh. I've just got a couple of comments in the chat room. From Mithrin. About 10 years ago, we stopped calling prisoners, and they became customers.
Yeah.
And I've got a friend who works in the mental health service, and they're not allowed to call them patients now. They're not allowed to call them inmates or anything. They're now called service users.
Wow. Right. Yeah, well, I mean, that's another big thing. I mean, my wife's a mental health nurse, and she's well. She started off as a mental health nurse. She worked on the wards in the local town for a bit, and then she ended up going to do the work assessments, which was an extremely stressful time, and that job absolutely. What that job does to people. I mean, we seen a program on TV, didn't we? I mean, them. The people really taking the mick about people and claiming loads of money. And I never seen that. What I seen with my wife going to work, and the safety aspect from it, the safety thing, were a big issue for me. Because there were some people who were meant to do them assessments, and they shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been meant to go for these disability assessments. They shouldn't have been meant to go off of them. And some of the stories, the mental health side, I mean, I can't say too much because she's not allowed to tell me much. She just tells me about the working conditions and the hours that she has to do. And, about having to stick to policies and rather than helping.
Well, I a few months ago, we had a guest on called Daisy. I know a lot of people have listened to that show, but very briefly, Daisy was a surgeon working within the mental health scheme. Working in the NHS. And when she discovered irregularities, she tried to bring it to the attention of the people above her, only to find out that the whole thing was just a complete and utter scam. And so when she went higher and higher and higher up the ladder, all the way to Parliament, the whole thing was a massive scam and a creaming off of money. And from that point on, they targeted her and completely discredited her. And she now finds herself unemployed, no house, no job, no nothing, and has been struggling and still is struggling within that mental health system. And the one thing, Daisy is the most intelligent woman I have ever met. She was on loads and loads of drugs, all with the side effects and whatever. And she sat with me in the office on the mental health ward and tried to claim common law jurisdiction. And all they said was, "Oh, it's all right, we're just going to set that aside." And just completely just brushed it away and went, no, we're going to do it like this instead. And everything she said was absolutely on the nail. She didn't miss a beat. And they just completely didn't have a clue what to do, so they just brushed it completely to one side. So.
Well, yeah, our hospital here in Burnley, apparently, it's got the largest claim against the NHS in history.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was something to do. The story goes. Unfortunately, someone committed suicide.
Oh dear.
While under care. But his parents walked in on him. And the care that he should have been getting weren't there. And basically, he hung himself. And when his mum and dad come to see him, they walked in. And they were hanging from the roof.
Oh, God. Well, I've got a very brief, but a girl I lived with for 9 years had got issues with alcohol. I will just say she'd also got those issues with alcohol before she met me. I didn't. It wasn't because of me. And a few years after we split up, her mum and dad walked onto the ward where she was and found her hanging behind the door by the belt of her dressing gown.
And this is what they're driving people to. This is what. I was listening to a guy the other day. Saudi Arabia, a country that we give aid to, a country that we help out an awful lot. If you actually start looking at the foreign aid bill,
Yeah.
we help out. We're in the billions to that country. Well, apparently, Saudi Arabia give their people $250,000 a year, which is their cut of the sale of the oil. So we're going back to the common law thing with our bonds, our birth certificates. So their bond with their government, it's like Gaddafi. Gaddafi wanted to share the profit of his country with the people. Like, he bought you a house, didn't he?
Yep. Free electricity,
Yeah, free electricity. Did he buy you a car after you pass your test? Is that another?
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, so in them countries, it's well known that you're entitled to your share of the wealth of the country. And that's what the bond is in our country, your birth certificate, our birth certificates. But people don't realise it. And they're milking it. That's what they're using a lot of this black money for, this black ops stuff. Maybe from the interest of our bonds.
I just want to read a few comments that we've missed that have come through the chat room. Let's have a look. Here we go. Read that one. I read that one. Before the 1930s, King Arthur, we're just getting back to King Arthur, was in all Welsh school textbooks. Then English government sacked all Welsh-speaking school teachers in Wales, with only English-speaking ones, and a new set of books, minus King Arthur. That's from Mithrin.
Yeah.
The BBC did a show about it, How Green Was My Valley. I do remember that one, actually, back from when I used to watch TV and pay the bastards $100 and however many £1 million it is a year to have a TV licence.
Well,
I read that one.
It comes under the United Nations Human Rights Conventions. That it actually comes down as genocide. Does that? It's genocide. And they won't hold into account.
I've got some really good comments here, Carl. The Queen is a bloated Hessian sack of Ebola feces followed around by mindless pilot fish. That's from Mahatma Cholera. Mithrin's just said we love Daisy. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't listened to that show, catch it on the podcast because she's amazing. I'll give you a quick update. I spoke to her yesterday, and she's still trying to fight to get a driving license back. She's not on any medication, and What what they've effectively said is because she's got a mental health history, she should be on medication. So even though she's not,
Well,
the fact that she should be is stopping her having a driving license.
yeah, well.
And if she was on medication, that would stop her having a driving license. So if that in between the devil and the deep blue sea, I don't know what is.
I've just had a bit of an enlightening moment there. I wonder if the driving license thing and driving, because they want people off the roads, don't they? And we've got a new medicine, haven't we, coming out for depression, like ketamine. I mean, if you're taking ketamine, are people going to be suitable to drive?
Well, I mean, the amount of people that are on antidepressants at the minute, are they
suitable to drive?
Yes, are they suitable to drive? Karl, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. I just want to quickly whiz through these comments from the chat room, and then I want to give you the last few minutes. Mithrin, we love Daisy. Yeah, she's mega. Andy Young's asked, can we get Daisy back for an update? At the moment, she's not got enough to tell us. I think she's wanting to get the driving licence thing sorted, and then hopefully she can come back with some helpful information for other people. Sturm, common purpose, and I think that's one thing that you and I haven't touched on tonight, Karl, but I think it is at the centre of almost everything that we've touched on tonight. And just one final comment from Mahatma Kola. The NHS has gone bust. Well, they're on about privatising it. It is privatised.
Yeah, it's been
It is privatised. Last time you went for an MRI scanner, I guarantee the NHS didn't own the scanner. Anyway, look, we've got about 2.5 minutes, Karl. I want to give you that time to cover anything at all that you want to go to. Absolutely anything.
Right, okay. Well, let's start with some fundamentals and basics, eh?
Yep.
Things that need to change. I mean, from the very first start of this social experiment that we've all been indoctrinated into, we join school, you get put into sets. You get divided from the very, very word go. The most intelligent people get it put in one set. The less fortunate get it put in another set. It's divided. You get your inter-school competitions. So you've got your inter-football competitions, school against school. Schools are well known for fighting between schools and schools fighting.
Yep.
So then you've got and then we go into there was football. We've got a local derby here, Burnley Blackburn. And we're local areas, but they try to keep us divided through sports, tools that are supposed to entertain us. But them tools, what they use, the dark arts. So we've got us Burnley Blackburn, and then you've got your North-South divide, and then you've got your England-Germany matches, and then you've got your European, Asia, and it's all divide. It's all divide. We all need to stop dividing, take back as sovereignty of his own countries, and all live in peace. The money that's spent on war. I mean, if all the money were taken out of the military and were to spend on the people, we'd have nothing to fight about. We'd be walking around streets paved in gold.
Absolutely agree. And we wouldn't be having to work 40, 60, 80 hours a week just to try and pay any bills. We'd all have more than enough.
No, like Nazi. When people think Nazi, their impression is wrong. What does Nazi stand for? National Socialist. People who are proud of their country, and they've built their social areas up through their hard work.
Yeah. Well, Karl, you've been a great guest, and I would love to get you back on again, if only to talk about more flat Earth.
Yeah, flat. I love flat Earth. I love flat Earth. Well, it saved me, sort of thing, because it took away all the crap and all the manipulation what they use to keep people occupied, going in the wrong direction.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one to wrap up on. Karl, thank you very much, mate. Stick around for a few minutes. We'll have a quick chat after we drop the live feed. But I do want to tell everybody what's going to be happening shortly tonight. In just a few minutes at 9 p.m, we've got Happy Hour Extra with Not Dr. Tamara and Tina. Tomorrow, 5 till 7, we've got Chuck O'Celli, and then 8 till 10, we've got Jason Holmes with Diane Jessie Miller, fantastic guest. That is definitely not one to miss tomorrow on Raconteurs News. And 10 to 11 tomorrow night, we've got Happy Hour with Not Dr. Tamara and Tina. You can catch all our podcasts on raconteursnews.com or on autonomousmedia.net. I'd like to special thank you tonight to Tony Hurst, who's been hanging everything together through the gremlins. And of course, thank you. And of course, big thanks to Karl Davies, my guest, who no doubt we'll have on again. Next week, 7 till 9, we've got my nocturnal Australian friend, Rob Halford. Rob is an absolute mine of history and lots of other information. And Rob's incredibly passionate about his stuff. And I know next week, one subject that he does want to cover is Syria. So if you want to know what's really going on in the world, join us next week on Raconteurs Too, 7 till 9 on Monday. We're going to play out tonight with another track from Deke Jackson. This one's called Woke Up This Morning.